Hey everybody. So we have a signing to talk about, a pretty major signing by the Pittsburgh Penguins, and that is winger Jake Guentzel. Um, Jake Guentzel has signed a 5-year, $6 million per season annual value extension with the Pittsburgh Penguins. This contract goes into effect starting next season because obviously he's under contract already for this year. So this starts in the 1920 season, and it's a 5-year, $30 million contract, which comes down to a $6 million annual average value. I don't believe the contract is structured that way. I think I saw a contract breakdown of how much he's making per season. I think he's making 7, then 5, then 7 again, then 5, then 6, or something. It's structured differently like that, but the average value is $6 million per year. So Jake Guentzel, top 6 forward for the Penguins, one of their biggest goal scorers, one of their best young goal scorers. Actually, they're the best young goal scorer. I like this deal for a lot of different reasons for Pittsburgh. I guess the biggest reason right off the bat is out of their young goal scorers, Jake Guentzel, I believe, is the best. When you look at the Penguins roster, they obviously have Crosby and Malkin, but they're longtime NHL veterans at this point. They have Kessel and Hornquist, also important players for that team, but they're veterans at this point, and Kessel could be on his way out of Pittsburgh in the near future. But when it comes to their young players, their up-and-coming guys, you have Guentzel, you have Brian Rust, you have Zach Aston-Reese, you have Dominic Simon, guys like that. Jake Guentzel, I believe, is the best player out of those young upcoming scorers. So he's an important guy to lock up if you're the Penguins. Another thing I really, really like about Jake Guentzel is he has incredible chemistry with Sidney Crosby. He and Crosby have played together fantastically from the start. Those two just instantly clicked, and they love playing together. They play really, really well together. They're a great duo to have on the same line. And that's a really important thing for the Penguins, is to have a wing on Crosby's side that he really likes to play with and produces at a high level with. Jake Guentzel is exactly that. The third reason I absolutely love this deal is Jake Guentzel's playoff performances. This kid is money come the postseason. And when you're a team that's perpetually in the playoffs year after year after year, the way the Pittsburgh Penguins are, you have to have good playoff performers. And Jake Guentzel absolutely is that. His first year in the NHL playoffs, the Penguins won the Stanley Cup. He played 25 games, had 13 goals as a rookie that year in the playoffs. He was fantastic. Then last year in the playoffs, Pittsburgh only made it to the second round where they lost to Washington. But in 12 playoff games last year, Guentzel had 10 goals, 11 assists, and 21 points in 12 games. This kid is money in the playoffs, and that is a great thing to have, especially if you're a team that is consistently in the playoffs. Is Jake Guentzel worth $6 million a year? Absolutely, for the reasons I just talked about. He's their best young goal scorer. He has tremendous chemistry with Sidney Crosby, and he's money come playoff time. That absolutely makes him worth $6 million a year. Actually, I think $6 million is a very team-friendly price for a guy who contributes the way that Jake Guentzel does. He's a huge part of this team, and he's going to be a huge part of this team going forward. So, what do I want to see out of Jake Guentzel in the future as his career progresses? He's 24 years old. He's starting to come into his prime now when he gets towards 25, 26, 27. His next 2-3 years are really going to be important years for him. To fully make this a great deal for the Penguins, Jake Guentzel needs to do a couple of things. He needs to continue the strong playoff performances. Now, is he going to score 21 points in 12 games every playoffs? Absolutely not. That'd be completely unfair to expect that. That's almost 2 points per game. That's unheard of. He needs to continue being a point-per-game player in the playoffs. If he can do that, he will be well worth $6 million. Also, I'd like to see him become a perennial 30-goal scorer. Put up 30 goals and 60 points year after year after year, the way like a Philip Forsberg does. Someone like that. That would be a really, really great production for somebody on a contract like this. So if you look at this season, in 37 games, Guentzel has 15 goals, 18 assists, and 33 points. Pretty good numbers. Not quite to the halfway point yet. He could get to 30 goals. He's already at 15, and we're not halfway done yet. 18 assists for 33 points. He's well on his way to 60 points. He has the chance to do those things this season. What would be a little bit disappointing would be if he went back to putting up last year's numbers. Last season, in 82 games, he only had 22 goals, 26 assists for 48 points. That is in itself is not worth $6 million a year. However, he did go on to have a ridiculously good playoffs last year, which certainly made up for the lack of production in the regular season. I want to see him continue the point-per-game production in the playoffs, and I want to see him be a 30-goal scorer and a 60-point guy year in and year out for the Penguins. And if he can do that, then this is an A-plus deal for Pittsburgh. I'm a big fan of Jake Guentzel. I'm not a huge Penguins fan, but this kid can play. He's a really, really good goal scorer. He's already absolutely a first-line forward, but he's only 24. He still has room to improve. He still has the ability to keep growing and developing his game, and we could see Jake Guentzel become one of the really premier goal scorers in the league if he continues improving. But anyway, I think this is a great deal for Pittsburgh. Good price, $6 million per year. The salary cap's going up again next year, so you're going to see salaries increase with the rise in the cap because teams will spend to the cap. So this is just a great long-term investment for Pittsburgh, and with the way that he plays with Crosby, the way he produces in the playoffs, this is an A-plus deal. So kudos to Pittsburgh's management for getting this done, and they've locked up their best young goal scorer for a long time now. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media, check out offthewallhockey.com. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store are in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.